Hi, I'm Eddie Obeng, and this is how daily I bring you a different tool, an idea, a method to help you grow, change, learn, make change happen, and survive in this complex, horrible world we're living in. Make it a brilliant world, not a horrible one. So today I've got a special one for you. It's a bit of a way of climbing out of anything really with grace and with energy, so that next time you tackle it, it'll be brilliant. It's called Action Replay. So let's get on to Cube and let's get going and see what we've got. Great. So as you can see, as always, the sun is always shining on Cube. Let's go to the workshop whiteboard. So the Action Replay pet is fascinating. So yesterday I was walking around just near my house in the forest, and I came across one of these. It's called the unicorn. No, of course I didn't, okay? The question is, what's the difference between a unicorn and a real review? And the answer is real reviews don't exist. What am I talking about? So there are two situations when people try and review things. The first one is they go, we're a business, we're doing the same thing every single day, and we're going to try and have a review. And they get people together, they have a discussion. These are our goals and plans for, I don't know, they either work on 1 year, or they work on a quarter, or they work on a month, sometimes a week. But usually, those are the typical review points for the year. So they set the goals, and people set off working, and they're working, and they come to whatever the review point is, and usually, they've not achieved it. And so their boss gives them a hard time. So you try your best to make sure the review doesn't get you into trouble. So you try and make the story as positive and real as possible. Okay, so that's one way. The other way you get reviews happening is on projects and change, where you start off with one set of situations and you want to end up in another situation. So I call that here and I call that there. And you're supposed to go in a straight line. But the reality, of course, is you set off and you wander off track and nobody's checking because there's no review. And then about here, somebody says, let's have a review. So you have 2 days of misery when you have to put things together for them. And you set up again on track and you wander off track. And then we need to check and see what's going on. And then finally you arrive, okay? Some organizations, like the corporations, they will put review points in, okay? But the review points are random because it'll be monthly or weekly. So let's just explore. Why do we do annual? Because if you're a farmer, you plant the crops, it's a good time to review once every year, okay? But I suspect none of you are farmers. If you're a fisherman, the moon comes around, the fish come up. It's a good time to review when the moon comes up. So doing it on the moon is a good idea, and so on. So you have to think about the actual change you're running with and when you should review. Best is to review after every single activity, but of course that takes lots of time. So no one does it. And everyone turns up at the review meetings and pretends they've done something useful or minimizes the issue. So what I'm going to do is show you how you can get everyone to be more honest, to actually grow your organization from your review, because after all, those who do not learn from what they've done are condemned to repeat it. Actually, this is not the right quote. When you go on the internet, there are tens of quotes about this one. So what's the secret? What are we up to? We're trying to get to one of the tricks I use, which is compounding. So most people, because they're not reviewing, every single time they learn something new, they get an improvement, maybe 10% improvement, and it's just 10%, but they're not building on anything. So this is simple interest. You're getting better, but one at a time. If you worked with me, you'll know how annoying I am, because at the end of every session, I go, right, action replay. Let's do a review. And people go, oh, can't we go down? No, we're going to do an action replay. And so we do an action replay. And the whole point of the action replay is to build on what you've done, so you get the compound effect. So that's what Action Replay is about. It's about a discipline to build. So what is it exactly? You start off by just capturing everyone's reflections. Just write out sticky notes, always in sentences as always, okay? Write out sticky notes. I noticed the client is falling asleep. We started bang on time. I don't know what they'll come up with. Get people to do it. If you're on Cube, flip this and make all the Post-its anonymous, so it's less obvious who's putting them up. It sort of makes people happier to actually share things without getting into too much trouble straight away, okay? And then once you've captured all the reflections, move them to these 4 boxes. On one side, you've got things you didn't plan, things you planned. So that's one axis. Oops, excuse me a second. That's one axis. planned and didn't plan. And then the other axis, you've got whether something worked or not. And so we've got four boxes: planned and worked, planned and failed, not planned and failed, and not planned and worked. And so you just take your stickers and go. I noticed the client fell asleep. I suppose that was not planned and failed. We started bang on time. That was here. So you move them around. So step 1, capture the reflection. Step 2, put them in the right place. Then once you've done that, the next step is to actually read them back. And the way you read them back is you always go in a clockwise direction. Okay, always in a clockwise direction. So what you're trying to do there is you're trying to start with the things which you planned and worked well, so up here, and then you work your way into why did it fail? What can we do differently next time? And then you work your way into how did this happen? How do we avoid it in the future? Then we go on to why did this happen and how can we repeat it? Always in a clockwise direction. Really, really, really important. So once you've worked your way around with each box, if you have actions required, you capture the actions at the bottom over here. So client fell asleep, or we started bang on time. How do we make sure that happens next time? We will catch the train on time. I don't know what it is. Okay, so you put the actions which arise from each box in here. So it's a very mechanical process. Nobody gets blamed. No one's going to get into trouble for doing it. The learning is there. It's captured. You can leave it on the wall for next time. You can compound it. And that's Action Replay. It's really very powerful. And it starts off not looking so powerful, but give it a year and you'll be amazed at what you achieve. So that's me. I've been Eddie Obeng, and that's How Daily. And I wish you best with all your action replays and being able to learn like Superman. Bye.